be teaching you are the around the world, the Tazani around the world, and the reverse crossover. The around the world is the first trick that I ever learned, and it's probably one of the easiest tricks that I ever learned. This is probably going to be the same for you, so let's start off with the trick and break it down. So firstly, when you do the around the world, it has to be one motion. You can't make it two separate tricks where you kick it up and then go around the ball. It just won't work. So now that we've broken down the around the world, we actually want to know how to do it. So my tip is to practice the motion first. So just juggle the ball and then simply do a 360 motion around the ball. Try to get a limited spin possible, because this will help in the future. As you can tell, my around the worlds do have a lot of spin, and I'm trying to work on getting no spin. Also practice on both feet. Now that you've learnt the 360 motion of the around the world, you just need to get that end touch. The end touch to the around the world is probably one of the easiest parts. So you want to try to do the around the world at a decent height, so you have enough time to get your foot completely around the ball and under it to kick it back up. So that's it for the around the world. Next, we'll move on to the Tazani around the world. So the second trick we'll be learning is the Tazani around the world. The Tazani around the world is a trick a bit more advanced than the around the world, and basically it consists of an around the world and a crossover no touch. And if you don't know what a no touch is basically we have no touches in between the trick you're doing. For example, the Tazani around the world is a no touch trick. So to actually do the Tazani around the world, you want to know what the first part of the trick is, which is just basically doing an around the world. You have to do this around the world at a decent height, not too high and not too low. If you do it high, then you won't have enough. There will be too much time that you actually can't get the second part of the trick done, which is doing the crossover, like this, as I'll show you right now. So as you can see, if you do the around the world too high, you actually can't do the second part of the trick, which is the crossover, because the ball is just too high in the air. So that's why you have to do the Tazani around the world at a sort of low height. And basically that is it for the Tazani around the world. You just want to practice an around the world and a crossover, no touch pretty much. And if you want me to make a tutorial on the crossover, then just leave a comment down below. So the last trick we'll be learning is the reverse crossover. So if you don't know what a reverse crossover is, it is basically a crossover in reverse. Pretty simple. The first step that you can practice when doing the reverse crossover is just by simply dropping the ball and going around it with your opposite foot, just like this. So now that you've got the motion of doing the reverse crossover, just try out it whilst juggling. It's a pretty simple and easy trick, so it shouldn't be too hard to land when juggling. Remember that you're kicking the ball up with your dominant foot and going around it with your weak foot. Also try hopping when you're doing the trick. It makes the trick a lot easier and also makes it more stylish. So yeah, now that you've learned all these 3 tricks, they can also be used into different types of combos.